grafting fruit trees. If you'll look, today we're still, if you'll take a glance at the surroundings, everything here is still dormant because we're in mid-February. Temperatures have been cold. We're in an unseasonably warm afternoon, but this peach tree has already bloomed. And last night we had temperatures that dipped below the freezing mark, so we're not going to have any fruit on this tree again. This tree is about 5 years old. We selected this variety about 6 years ago and planted it. We were trying to push the envelope a little bit, so to speak, so that we could have some fruit early. But this particular variety bloomed so early that during its 5-year lifespan or so, we haven't grown any fruit. So what we're going to do is we're going to retain our root system. We're going to cut this tree off and we're going to graft a different variety. Actually, we're going to graft 2 different varieties on the stump today so that we can hopefully in the next year or 2 start producing fruit from this tree. Cut off our bigger limbs. If you'll notice, we've left 2 limbs on here today. We call these nurse limbs or mother limbs. We'll continue to leave those on the tree for a period of time so that the tree will go through its normal processes of production and moving water up from the root system into the leaves. And that way, when we do our grafts onto these limbs that we cut off, then they have a whole lot better chance of surviving. What we're going to do today is just called a simple bark graft. Once we've cut these limbs off, we're going to take a knife. We're going to cut through the cambium layer and just do a little twist with the knife blade and see how it folds that bark back. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll take our scion and drive it down into that split bark spot. These scions are the woods that we'll be grafting onto our stump here. Were collected several days ago. We wanted to make sure that as we collected this scion wood off of a different variety, we did it while those trees were in total dormancy. And so they were collected, they were stored in a plastic bag in some water in a refrigerator to keep them nice and cool so that they don't break dormancy. What we'll do is we'll take our knife now, take our scion, and with one smooth stroke, we want to cut that wood down to a nice point. We want to try to do it where we're not doing a lot of whittling on the wood, but get it to a place where it's nice and sharp on this end so that it will drive into that split bark spot. Okay, now that our scion is prepared, we're just going to take it and gently get here and slip it right down inside my slit in that bark, up to a point where we had the scion trimmed. We can take a hammer and gently tap it so it's nice and tight. And we're going to follow that procedure on all of our bark cuts around this stump. Probably what we will do is we'll put on 4 grafts on each of these limbs that were cut off. And then later on, we'll see, hopefully they will all take, but just in case one doesn't take, then we'll have plenty to choose from as we select the growth that we want to use and grow out and produce fruit in the coming years. Okay.
Huh?
Now what we're going to do as we finish up this graft is we're taking regular grafting tape and we're going to pull it and make a tight, secure, waterproof connection here on these grafts to try to keep air out and also keep water from running in to pollute or cause there to be some kind of bacterial growth in on our graft. Is take some masking tape because we're going to smear some grafting grease on this tree in a minute to protect this open portion of this limb and to keep it nice and moist and keep any kind of bacteria or anything from entering this wound. But if we can take masking tape and tape off these edges, that way that grafting paste will not go down in and eventually ruin our graft, keep it from taking hold. As the final part of the process, we're just going to take this grafting grease and smear it on there liberally. That just prevents moisture loss, covers that open wound, allows our grafts a better chance of survival, and we don't want that wound actually to get sunburned, is what it's called. So this is just part of the protection process. We'll finish up by putting a little dab on the ends of our scions to make sure there's no sunburn that takes place there. And we'll finish up and we'll go ahead and we'll do grafts on the other two limbs. Keep in mind we're leaving our nurse limbs or our mother limbs to keep the tree processes working so that our grafts have a whole lot better chance of surviving. And so there you have it today.